to create a brand, please write this down. It's not doing a bunch of things. You still do the same thing and say the same thing again and again and again and again, right? And again. Even you're sick and tired of it, you still say that again and again and again and again and again. We're going to make your offer repeatable. What's the word? Because when it's not repeatable, it's not scalable. If every single time you sit down with a prospect, you got to do a different pitch, it's not scalable. You got to change your message, it's not scalable. It should be the same message, the same pitch, the same funnel, the same process. You just do it 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 times again and again and again. That's how you scale. 6-figure to 7-figure to 8-figure. It's not doing a bunch of things. It's you found your core offer and it's selling. Let's do that 1,000 times. Are you with me? That's the difference. People think, if this thing is not working, let me sell more things. If this thing is not working, why you want to sell more things? You got to fix this thing so it sells. Or you got to find ways to sell this thing. But we don't like to do that. We like, let me come up with 50 other things to sell. How do you think I know that? I made that mistake. Right? It's like, this is not working. Let me try something else that also doesn't work.
So, question, Sifu. So I have a brick and mortar, obviously, and
Yes.
scale into online, but should the offer itself be identical in a way? The theme you were talking about.
That's two different businesses, right?
Well, yes, but still in the same health and wellness.
So it would be the same brand.
Yes.
You could have different products, but the offer itself, let's say we're talking about like if selling your tea, right? That's one core thing. We want to figure out that one thing and just sell that. You bring people in with your core offer, you sell them everything else afterwards.
Okay.
What you don't want to do is let me push 100 things in the marketplace because each thing requires effort. Think about all your energy, right? If like, oh, it's all like this, your marketing dollars, your team, your effort, it goes like this. Versus, hey, let me bring people in like this. And that doesn't mean it's to stop here, but that core product is the key. Figure out that one thing first. Get very good at selling that one thing. It's like sometimes I sit down with experts and business owners, and they've been selling, let's say they sell a few billion bucks a year. And I'll sit down with them and I'll look at the offer. Well, clearly, it's okay, it's selling, this sell a few million bucks a year, that's good. And they like, I know my business is not growing. I think I've saturated my market. It's like, okay, you've sold a few million bucks worth of your stuff. How big is your market? Oh, it's a $10 billion market. Explain to me how you've saturated your market again. Well, I've been doing marketing online, social media. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows you. Like you mean the $2 billion that you could get, you've sold a few million bucks, everybody knows you? Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. A lot of people? Because if a lot of people knows you, you should be selling 100 million, not 2-3 million. That's not true. So we come up with this thing in our head. It's like, oh, everybody. No, it's not true at all. So then usually I said, hey, how about take what you offer and let's tweak the messaging and bring in different people. You're still selling the same thing. Suddenly you're going into a slightly different market, different appeal, right? But we don't want to change this. This is why we're going to spend day one on this. You don't want to change this thing. Now, for some, you got to find that offer market fit. Until it fits, you can scale. We're going to do that. But for some, you got something that works, don't change this. Just keep doing it again and again and again, but find different ways of selling. Does that make sense? Most businesses stay small because they have one way, write this down, of selling many things. So let's take, right? Let's say 6-figure, 7-figure, and 8-figure. The pattern you would see is usually the 6-figure people, they have one way, meaning one way of bringing in clients, and they kind of like squeeze them in and try to sell everything they've got. That's why they stay small. They've got one way of acquiring customers, and sometimes, unfortunately, I ask them, how do you acquire customers? If they say anything like word of mouth and referral, it means that they don't know how to acquire customers. That's called hope. And hope is not a strategy. If they cannot tell me how they acquire customers, if they say anything like, oh yeah, I wait for them to call, that's not a strategy, right? At 7-figure, usually, right, you see that they have one solid way, right, one way of bringing customers, and then sell them one thing, and then they have another solid way of selling them something higher ticket, right? So they have a good way of generating lead and then ascending those leads. So the front end and the back end, which I'll teach you, right? 8-figure business, they have multiple ways of selling one thing. So they have multiple ways of generating leads and then ascending them to high ticket. That's the pattern. So, but first, depends on where you are. You got to figure out what's the one way first, which I'll give you all of that. This is what we're going to walk through, right? In the next 3 days. I'll show you exactly how I do that. But for now, just understand the concept. Do you understand? You with me so far? Yeah, right? So knowing you don't want to sell a whole bunch of things up front. Sell one thing. It's difficult enough to just crack the code for one thing. But we want to do new stuff. You don't want to do new stuff. You want to do good stuff. You want to do repeatable stuff.